Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk about one of those hot commodities, soybeans, with Mac Marshall from the United Soybean Board and Kansas farmer Lance Rezac, who's on the US Soybean Export Council. We also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture, and Kansas Grain Sorghum, along with a weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com.
And agricultural news from agview.net. Senate Ag Chairwoman Debbie Stabenow of Michigan says that Democrats are considering trying to move a bill that includes the agriculture climate initiatives, biofuel provisions, and electric vehicle provisions of the president's stalled $1.3 trillion reconciliation bill in lieu of trying to move the larger measure which remains stalled in the Senate. Democrats are also said to be trying to revive extension of the expanded child tax credit. Now, whether Democrats are able to unify behind such a package or entice Republican support is uncertain, though many insiders say that it seems improbable. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack told those at the American Farm Bureau Convention he will use USDA's Commodity Credit Corporation to fund agriculture climate pilot initiatives, while pledging that such funding will not come at the expense of the Farm Bill or other programs to help farmers and ranchers. The climate initiatives would take the form of partnerships between USDA and farm groups, as well as other interested parties, similar to the partnership the Secretary announced with the National Corn Growers, the National Soybean Board, and National Pork Board to, among other things, double cover crops by 2030. This move appears to use CCC funding for climate initiatives and appears to be on an alternative approach to waiting on funding for such purposes contained in that stalled $1.75 trillion reconciliation bill. In addition to the declaration relative to CCC and concerning the partnership to increase cover crops, Secretary Vilsack said the Biden administration is committed to addressing farmers' concerns about rising production costs and supply chain disruptions and is pushing China to fulfill its purchasing commitments under that Phase 1 trade agreement. More news at agview.net. We'll be right back.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
And welcome back. Mac Marshall is Vice President of Market Intelligence with the United Soybean Board, is now joining us. And Mac, as we look back on 2021, it's been a wild ride in the commodity markets, none more than in soybeans.
That's absolutely right. And I look back to the 20/21 marketing year, and it has really been an episodic one. I mean, who'd have thought at the start, when we were coming into the season, in I think a temporarily oversupplied position, prices kind of wavering in that $9 range, that we'd see prices spike up to over $16 in May, kind of now in that mid-12 range for new crop. It's really been crazy, but I think it's been marked by a number of different events. Now, first off, the start of last year, we got off to a great start with exports. China came back into the market in a big way. It was the first time in which, or the first marketing year in which we had Phase 1 fully entered into force. China was purchasing and coming back very large, but it wasn't just about China. We were seeing a lot of growth in a number of different markets globally, really leveraging the market diversification strategy that we've employed, I think, over the past several years. Now, as it continued, and we had really aggressive export sales week after week after week, and continual upward revisions on the USDA balance sheet, that was chipping away at what we were seeing projected ending stocks to be. And then you overlay that with a record crush year as well. Really ample domestic demand. At the end of the year, you total it all up, we exported nearly 62 million tons. We had a record crush volume, and it's underlying and underpinning that crush piece is a fundamental shift in the rationale for crush, which I think is really exciting.
One of the things we've noticed domestically, and in Kansas, we're getting, Marta came out and said, hey, we're going to put a soy crush plant in. Other places where they grow, we're seeing almost this resurgence, in a way, of crush plants in the U.S., but others are saying, well, are we going to overbuild too quickly? Are we overreacting?
Well, let's start at why new crush plants are being built, and I think we need to go back to the start of 2021. Now, once we crossed over to the new calendar year, we started seeing this wave of announcements from the renewable energy space about renewable diesel plants. Now, renewable diesel is, basically, it's different from traditional biodiesel in that it's produced in a different chemical process and can wholly displace fossil-based petroleum diesel. Now, I think with an increased emphasis towards green production and bio-based energy solutions, there was a tremendous wave of new investment coming in, both for greenfield construction of new plants as well as retrofitting of old petroleum plants and expansion of existing renewable diesel plants. So you put this all together, there's a lot of new capacity coming online, which can, if you go off of the Energy Information Administration numbers, you could potentially see that be a 5 billion gallon market in the next couple of years. Now, the lead feedstock, of course, that we produce in the greatest quantity is, of course, soybean oil. Now, right now, we have about 2.4 billion bushel crush capacity in the U.S. So as we're seeing this expansion in renewable diesel and an increased demand for soybean oil, we certainly see soybean oil prices respond in part due to that. It's also incentivizing crushers to expand capacity. So you look at the announcements that have come out in the past couple months, we're potentially expanding crush in the U.S. over the next 3 years by upwards of 20%. And that's going to be really necessary, I think, for supplying this burgeoning market on the oil side.
Very good. Mac, appreciate it. Fascinating stuff. I'm sure we'll be talking down the road. So.
Definitely.
Great.
Appreciate it, Ken.
Mac
Thank
Marshall,
you.
who is Vice President of Market Intelligence, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
Thank you.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
What if US soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the soybean checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
We're joined now by Lance Rezac, who's a Kansas farmer and a member of the United Soybean Board, but also one of the representatives on the US Soybean Export Council. So, Lance, let's talk about what a buzzword that has now become just part of actually working, and that when it comes to sustainability and where agriculture, where soybean farmers are.
Yeah, sustainability used to not be that big a deal, but it's really grown in popularity, even in countries you wouldn't think about being worried about sustainability. China, of course, is our big trading partner. They buy 60% of all U.S. or all soy in the world traded. And I just heard a few minutes ago here that 3 different aquaculture feed companies in China just signed an agreement to buy sustainable U.S. soy, which means they can get a label and put it on their bag of feed for the people. It means they got to buy at least 60% U.S. soy. And so China is willing to put a little more effort into this even, and that's kind of surprising coming from China. Usually they're just like low cost, and so they're starting to even see the value of sustainable soy.
The value of not only sustainability, but the value of U.S. soybeans. Let's talk about these export markets. I mean, obviously it's China, but there's a lot of inroads being made in other places as well.
There is. China's the elephant in the room. Everybody knows that. I mean, we got to respect them. They're important. We got to have them. But USEC's working. They're actually working in 82 countries around the world and developing soy, developing relationships with people. It's surprising in the world of trading U.S. soy. It's really not that big a world. USEC has people in these countries on staff that they're actually contractors that they work with in the countries, and they're doing everything from teaching them how to raise chickens, teaching them how to raise fish, teaching them the value of U.S. soy, teaching them about our amino acid balance, it's better, and doing a lot of work with these other countries just to promote our advantage we have. And then sustainability is a big one. The U.S. is way more sustainable than Brazil's our big exporting competition, of course. And you look at the U.S. and, you know, our forest acres are up and our farmland acres are down, and the Brazil, they're deforesting everything. And so we have a huge advantage there. You know, we have better soil erosion conservation. We use less labor. Our story's just endless that we can tell about that.
And then an ongoing story as well is aquaculture, and we continue to learn more about that, and soybeans are playing a big role there.
They are. Aquaculture is going to be a cheaper protein for these countries that are growing, because fish can convert protein or soybean meal 1-to-1. I can get a pound of fish out of a pound of feed, and so you can get animal protein for the same pounds. And I said something earlier. I was shocked to know that there are more pounds of farm-raised fish in the world than there is beef. That's farm-raised fish. And so that's a huge market when you can get into all these markets, because all these countries have some fish. You know, Chinese have a lot of fish in the backyard. A lot of these countries eat fish. And so yeah, if we can get into that market, it's going to be a whole nother area that the soybeans have another new use.
Right.
It's not new.
Sure, well, right. Lance Rezac, a Kansas farmer, member of the United Soybean Board, also is on the US Soybean Export Council, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
soybean producers throughout Kansas together again to kickstart their year with valuable updates from industry leaders. Time off in 2021 allowed the expo to take on some new features while still remaining the familiar networking event attendees have come to know. To start the day, Lance Rezac shared a US Soybean Export Council update, followed by Guy Allen sharing updates from the International Grains Program Institute. Motivational speaker Larry Weaver headlined the event. He used comedic anecdotes of his life and childhood to encourage attendees to take care of themselves in the stressful reality of farming. Governor Laura Kelly took the stage at the luncheon to applaud soybean farmers on driving economic value in the state of Kansas, even calling soybeans a backbone of the Kansas economy. Kenlyn Johannes and 24/7 Travel Stores took home recognition as the 2022 Friends of Soy. The award is presented at the Luncheon of Expo annually to honor a person, company, or organization who has demonstrated the ability to work cooperatively with Kansas soybean farmers in their effort to improve markets and profitability. Returnee speakers Ed Anderson, PhD, and Darryl Holliday gave attendees much to take back to their operations during the afternoon sessions. It was a great expo, and we thank this year's planning committee, attendees, and sponsors for making the event possible.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
One of the best things that has come out of the last 2 years is virtual learning that expands programming to reach more people. Combine that online component with the increased enthusiasm for locally sourced foods, and you'll find the 2 webinar series that the Kansas Department of Agriculture is offering this winter. During the week that begins January 31st, we're offering a virtual workshop series for farmers markets and direct-to-consumer businesses. The workshop series includes 4 online lunch and learn sessions, followed by a half-day virtual workshop on Friday, all designed to address common questions and concerns for farmers and small businesses who are embracing these opportunities to reach local consumers. Each lunch session will address a different topic, from food packaging and scales to meat and poultry businesses. At the end of the week, the half-day workshop on February 4th features a keynote speaker and a variety of topics to help with marketing, senior farmers market nutrition program, legal risks, and more. And KDA's Weights and Measures program will also offer free scale certification to paid registrants. It's only $5 per participant, and you can register now at fromthelandofkansas.com/FM workshop. Then, from March 1st through April 5th, we're hosting a series of lunch and learn sessions every Tuesday at noon, focused on growing specialty crops. These discussions will look at specialty crop marketing, business principles, why to engage in the specialty crop industry, embracing agritourism through specialty crops, and much more. We'll feature successful specialty crop growers from across the country who can share their stories and lead discussions on topics specific to this unique part of the agriculture industry. These specialty webinars will be free to participants, and registration and specific dates can be found on the KDA website at agriculture.ks.gov/business development. Thanks for being part of these programs, and we hope to see you online.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
2021 was a meaningful year for grain sorghum that welcomed great international demand for U.S. growers' premium quality crops, as detailed by our partners at the U.S. Grains Council. Top buyers for U.S. sorghum in 2021 included China at 267 million bushels, Sudan with 2.8 million bushels, as well as Mexico and Eritrea purchasing about 2.4 million sorghum bushels last year. And you can see the economics at work from that demand in the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission's 2021 annual report. That annual report is a snapshot of the Kansas sorghum industry, containing information on production, markets, and average farm price for sorghum at $5.85 per bushel last year. And with its focus always on farmers, the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission will meet again for its winter 2022 board meeting on Thursday, January 27th in Salina, Kansas. And don't miss registration for the free Kansas Commodity Classic, to be held the next day in Salina with noteworthy guest speakers covering topics from markets to climate trends. Registration is still open at kansascommodityclassic.com. So come join the conversation and be a part of the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission as we look to the promising future for the crop throughout the region. Through its vision to drive value for producers by positioning sorghum as a sustainable, reliable, and profitable crop through its responsible investment, the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission is committed to sorghum promotion, research, and information designed to strengthen, expand, and develop new foreign and domestic markets for sorghum growers. Reporting for Kansas Grain Sorghum, this is Adam York.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
The Kansas Association of Wheat Growers annual membership meeting will take place on January 27th at 3:00 p.m. at the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan. COG members can attend the meeting in person or can join virtually. Instructions for joining the meeting via Zoom have been emailed to COG members. During the annual meeting, members will review COG's activities and priorities and discuss and debate the policies of wheat growers in a policy resolutions session. New resolutions include opposition of government mandates on carbon or sustainability on food labels and the removal of stepped-up basis from the tax code. Other new resolutions include support for USDA's Risk Management Agency to create crop insurance policies to cover losses from wheat streak mosaic virus and other diseases, farmers' right to repair their own equipment and make decisions on where equipment is repaired, and practices to protect farmer ownership and privacy of data. The COG membership meeting will precede the 2022 Kansas Commodity Classic, scheduled for January 28th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Salina. Join the annual convention of the Kansas wheat, corn, grain sorghum, and soybean farmers to hear a weather climate outlook from Chief Meteorologist Ross Jansen from KWCH in Wichita and a market update from David Brock from Brock Associates. Elected officials have been invited to give a U.S. congressional update on the upcoming Farm Bill and other pertinent issues affecting Kansas farmers. Greg Dowd will end the day with a trade update. The event is free to attend and includes a complimentary breakfast and lunch. However, pre-registration is requested. Visit kansascommodityclassic.com to register.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Governor Laura Kelly recently sent a letter to U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack outlining the devastating impact of the extreme weather that affected many Kansas livestock producers on December 15th. She acknowledged that several USDA disaster programs would be helpful for livestock producers impacted by the many wildfires experienced in the state, but also expressed concern about the level of benefits provided by the programs. Governor Kelly asked Secretary Vilsack to adjust the payment rate of the Livestock Indemnity Program to better reflect the replacement cost of cows lost in the fires, especially bred cows. The letter highlighted the gap between payment rates for replacing lost fences through the Emergency Conservation Program with the actual cost of barbed wire and steel post. She also requested access to Conservation Reserve Program acres and payment eligibility for standing forages stockpiled for winter grazing. Governor Kelly said eligibility and flexibility in these programs would go a long way for the Kansans who lost their grasslands, feed, livestock, and in some cases, their homes. The Kansas Livestock Foundation still is collecting funds to assist in relief efforts for livestock producers impacted by the wildfires and severe storms. To donate, go to...
What if sustainability were synonymous with US soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define US soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Good morning. I'm Darren Van Vactor with Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. Our January report did very little for riling up the markets. The neutral demeanor of the report, coupled with a wetter week in South America, left a void of bullish news for corn and bean bulk. NOPA did report a record high crush in December. Bean oil stocks now sit about 11% higher than November and nearly 20% higher year on year. We were thinking that the larger headline would be coming out of South America, but this time it hails from across the pond as Russian-Ukrainian tensions appear to be reaching their boiling point. The U.S. has been trying to assist in a diplomatic solution, but we may not be able to walk this one back. U.S. officials have warned Russia of potential economic sanctions and done some spearheading of their own, assuring that there would be a strategic response to any type of a Russian invasion. The news excited the traders, spooking some bears out of their short positions. Right now, we're trading conflict in Europe, weather in South America, and domestic demand here at home, with the fall new crop insurance pricing period right around the corner. So far, 2022 is picking up right where 21 left off from a volatility perspective. Volatility leads to opportunity, but opportunities will look differently with input cost increases. Knowing what you need should make your future decisions that much easier. If you have questions, give us a call, 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor. Be safe and have a great week.
That's our show this week. More at KansasAgReport.net or our social media channels. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.